Hey, welcome to another episode of CC Top Solutions. In this episode, we're going to go ahead and check our initial timing, set it to what I think it would perform best with. We're going to do a real basic wheel alignment, and then later in the week, I'm going to take it to an exhaust shop, get an exhaust system installed, and we're going to be in business. This sucker is going to be a driver. We also have to come up with a nickname for it. I'm thinking maybe, with the Lincoln is named Honest Abe, after one of our presidents. I think we could probably name this after perhaps one of the greatest role models this country has ever seen. Touchdown Bundy. What do you think? I'm gonna save all the talking parts from when the engine's not running, so this way y'all can hear me. So, hey, how do you guys like that? Threw that y'all in there. So here's our timing light. That's all already hooked up. I wanted to hook it up in advance just so it'd be good to go. We've got our timing light hooked up to #1 cylinder plug. We have our vacuum advance disconnected. See that blue plug? That's our vacuum advance port. And we're ready to fire this up. We know our RPM's high, so it's gonna keep running. That's not a problem. And in order to advance your 383, you rotate the distributor counterclockwise. So you rotate it that way. Watch and learn. So I couldn't get it to idle much below like 1,050 RPM. I need to see what's going on with this carburetor and see if I actually have these throttle blades all the way out and it's still idling that high. If I do, I have like a massive vacuum leak someplace. So the carb is on our fast idle cam, so I took it off. Choke is off now. I'm gonna try and start it back up and see if our RPM is still way too high. I want to see what kind of vacuum we're pulling with this engine, because it runs cammy, much cammier than I was expecting. So at the end of our little tune session, we ended up with 14 inches of initial timing. Oh no, 14 degrees of initial timing, 14 inches of vacuum at about 700 RPM. And when we hooked our vacuum advance up, that gave us about another 20 degrees in timing. So at idle, we're sitting at 34 degrees timing. And this should run great now. I'm gonna go ahead and put the air cleaner back on. I think it is still running a little bit rich because my eyes are burning, but who knows? So we ordered some state-of-the-art equipment. We're gonna do the alignment on the truck. What we need to do is adjust our toe in, toe out, how the front wheels are steering, this way. And right here, you can see our state-of-the-art alignment rack. This way we can drive the truck onto it. And when we're adjusting our tie rod ends, the tires will have a real low friction surface to rotate on. So hopefully it should make it go real simple. So as many of you know, a true enthusiast like this guy constantly feels, listens, smells, whatever they can do to try and make sure the machine is running at its greatest. When I was putting the truck on the alignment rack, I felt like the throttle was kind of shabby, right? You know, it felt like I couldn't give it a whole lot of gas, and I couldn't get it to kick out of high idle. Take a look at what we have going on here with the old throttle. Look at this deal. Yeah, that's not gonna cut it. And take a look at. So when I'm giving it gas, it has that much play. Basically, I was giving it maybe 20% throttle was all I was able to give it. And that's just not gonna cut it. And here's our bracket arrangement back here, which I don't know what's going on there, but I know this. I'm changing this. So here was my grand plan. I was gonna use this custom throttle cable bracket that I've used on Holly style carburetors, and it looks like that's not gonna work with an Edelbrock because of these extra linkages that are on here for the kickdown cable for this transmission. This is the, what is it, 783? And there's our kickdown cable. I guess that's okay. But yeah, I'm gonna have to come up with some other setup to hook our throttle cable to this thing. I've come up with an idea. I'm gonna make a plate that basically sticks out. It's just gonna be a metal plate that kind of looks like a big U. So we had our expert team of scientists, professionals, and geniuses come together and kind of evaluate this whole setup here. And this looks almost like an extra piece that I don't need that would be blocking my throttle bracket, so I'm gonna get rid of it. In the process of doing that, I dropped a nut or a bolt. I dropped a nut, right? And I noticed something. Look at this. There's like an open, like, slot into the engine down here. What is that, right? I know, just insanity. So we bought our special Mopar tool to go ahead and block that off. So if we drop anything in the future, we're all good. And that is why they call me CC Top Solutions. We had a problem, and I made a solution. And as you can see, our kickdown linkage, everything clears, plenty of room. So we're good to go. There we go, finished product, fresh in from our custom CNC machine. We have begun our home alignment, and you can see what we're doing here. We just have this piece of 3/4 inch plywood that we're holding against our back tire with our laser pointed down, so this way we have it evened out. So right across our back tire, you can see our laser makes it through with almost exact clearance the whole way. So we know our laser is perfectly straight. And then if we look what it's doing up here in the front tire, it doesn't look great. You can see that the laser is basically hitting the back of the tire, which means the tire is turned too far in the front. So we're gonna go ahead and straighten the tire out so the laser stops hitting it. And then ultimately what we're gonna wanna do is measure from this area of the tire, really it should be from the rim, out to the laser line and make sure it's even in both spots. With any luck, I'll be able to put this here, but I don't know. I mean, as you can see, it's pretty far off. Actually, there's a better way to tell how far off it is. Yeah, so this goes in so far, I mean, it's really hard to see, but back here, the laser is hitting like this front edge of the wood. All the way up here, it's actually out here in the wood. So this tire is turned in pretty far. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it out towards me a little bit. So I was down here studying my suspension. Here's what I noticed. There is a turnbuckle right here. So just eyeballing it, you can see that I've adjusted it maybe 3 or 4 threads. And the way this works, right? If you adjust it so that you're turning this assembly clockwise, you effectively are turning your tires to the passenger side. That's how that works. So I turned it clockwise, 3 or 4 threads, maybe 5 threads. And at this point, it's underneath a ton of tension. Even with my state-of-the-art alignment rack, I don't think that the tires are really moving just because of all the weight. So I think what I really have to do, plus it's a great excuse to fire it up. I think I need to start it up. Oh, actually those tires did move. But I need to fire it up and kind of recenter the steering and see how it's sitting. We'll also just do a quick check, see what our state-of-the-art laser alignment machine shows. Oh yeah, the tire definitely moved. If you remember before, the laser was completely against this side. Now, if you look, that laser is actually, that's actually pretty darn good. I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and say, we are aligned. We're ready to party. Yes, all right. Winning, right? Me and Charlie Sheen. Well, we got the old A for effort, F for performance. This was too far of a compensation, so now when I'm driving, the steering wheel is all crazy and the truck kind of pulls to the passenger side. You can actually see, I mean, if you just sort of get back here and look at it, you can see that the tires are, I mean, clearly they're both going to the passenger side, and on top of it, the driver's side looks like it's going further to the passenger side than the passenger side. So I'm gonna go ahead and back it off half of what it was, and then another test drive. All right, we're gonna try this again. I've already realigned it, aligned it. One take piece of cake? Not this time. Maybe in Fantasyland. All right, let's get in here and let's go for a spin. See how that immediately flies over as soon as I unlock it? I don't know about that business right there. I don't know, maybe it's all right. Oops. Took it off fast idle too quick. Very bumpy. Got up to about 20 miles an hour. Actually, the handling, the alignment's not too bad now. I could probably drive this to the exhaust shop. It's street legal, ready to go. This is the real test of the alignment when we're on actual asphalt. That seems to be where it's returning to center. But that actually is centered, so not bad. Yep, approved. Oops. God, I hate hitting that stick. I gotta cut that branch down. Whoa, bounced me right off the seat. Good on the back. Give you guys an idea how it looks down here, where the business happens. Oh yeah, it spins some tires. Well, you know what? It is wet lawn. I would think it would, I would hope it would have the power to do that. Jesus. Whoa! I think I just jumped. That was awesome. Yep, that is mine. You know what's weird? It almost looks like our radio fuse blew again. I wonder what's up with that. Maybe that radio has a problem. That's why the fuse is blown. fun. Does donuts surprisingly easy. Probably not the best truck to do donuts in though. Wow. Man, this thing sounds awesome. We've gotten the Ramcharger back from the exhaust shop. It's awesome, but we learned immediately after having the exhaust installed that the driver's side header gasket is blown. So I had to order some new ones. They have since arrived. I've been driving it around even with the blown header gasket. The exhaust looks really cool. But if you drive a car around after it's been off the road for a while, you start to find all the little bugs that need to be worked out. So today we're gonna look at tail lights. I think I just need bulbs. We're gonna look at sway bar bushing, exhaust gasket. Oh, and our headlights. Our headlights are like way out of adjustment and the adjusters are all stripped out. And that's just like a pet peeve of mine. You can see this headlight's like really, like I don't know what got into there, but I like to have all my headlights in good shape. And actually this sort of drove me nuts too. I put this in, but clearly it doesn't match. Not a real good fit. This was previous owner. You know, I like to have all of this stuff matched and tight, which it's not right now. So we're gonna start working on stuff like that, just to sort of clean up all the little bugs. But here, you wanna hear how the exhaust sounds? You can definitely tell it's got a blown exhaust gasket. Back here it sounds good though. Once I replace the exhaust gasket, it should sound real nice. Pull our tail lights out and look inside there. Look how trashed it is. Yuck. So we're gonna go ahead and hit that with some electrical cleaner and maybe even some regular lubricating oil and try and get all that crud out of there. And this bulb, when we went to try and remove it, the glass is just spinning in the socket. So we definitely have some bulb issues and maybe some socket issues. This happens every time. Same thing happened with the Lincoln. You know, if you have a car that's been sitting, it just does it. Here's the bulb that came out. I don't know what this is on here, but it's sticky. So, got me. We're gonna clean this up. We went ahead and we replaced our taillight bulbs. It was the same deal with the Lincoln where the sockets were all messed up. And now, you know, I'd say put 40 miles on this. Look what happened to the front sway bar bushings. Notice how there isn't one on the bottom. So I've got some new bushings. I'll put those in. The ones up here really aren't too bad. They should be replaced, but they're not as crucial right now. They're not that bad. But those end length bushings, they are definitely shot. So we're gonna do something about those today. Now we're in the process of doing our sway bar bushings, the ones that go right here and here. The kit that I bought was the Rock Auto kit. Something's not quite right because it came with way too many bushings and oversized hardware and stuff, and it did not come with like these bushings or these ones. So whatever. I mean, the ones that were really worn out were the ones that were here anyways. The driver's side one was completely gone, so wasn't doing a whole lot. So I'm just gonna slide these things on. A little bit of a trick to doing this, you gotta make sure you disconnect both sides with the sway bar at the same time. So this way you can lift this up and put the new bushings in and then let it back down. Don't forget to anti-seize this. Sway bar bushings installed. You tighten this until you start to see your actual rubber bushings or polyurethane compress. So it's compressed on both sides, good to go. We've cleaned up our headlights. Everything's adjusted pretty good. We have new adjusters installed. I've ordered some new hardware so I can fix all that stuff. Now we're gonna go ahead and install our new driver's side header gasket. And as you can see down here, it's really not too bad to access it from right here in the driver's side wheel well. So this should be pretty simple. So we have our header unbolted, right? Nice, nice. So you would think, oh, one take piece of cake. You just pull the header right off, pull the old gasket out, put the new one in, good to go. But as you try to pull the header off, uh-oh, it doesn't clear these studs. And those studs are there, at least one of them goes through the water jackets. So if I pull the studs, all the antifreeze comes out. So I think what I'm gonna have to do is lift the engine. So much for this being a quick, easy one. Here's a bird's eye view showing how we're gonna lift this. So we have a 3/4 inch wrench on this bolt right here. That is our driver's side engine mount. So once I loosen this up, I should be able to just lift the engine couple of inches, and that should clear everything. It looks like I tightened the living bejesus out of this thing. So I'm having some trouble breaking it free. I'm probably gonna have to use a hammer. And then I think I'm also gonna put a little liquid wrench penetrating wheel in there so that when I'm lifting it slides nice and easy. I don't want it to get bound up. I'm not sure where the best place to lift is, so we're probably gonna try and do it from the oil pan to the bell housing, which generally is probably a no-no. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. This looks to be all good. You can see that we have the engine lifted up. Well, I don't know. I would say 3 or 4 inches or so. And that should be enough that we can pull the header off, change the gasket. Oh, check this out. New jack, got it for Christmas. Thank you, Santa. You're the man. So when you look at the old exhaust gasket, confirmed, blown at every port. Looks like maybe I should not have been driving this around without checking the headers first. Our new gasket, this is pretty fancy. Wow! I'm gonna go ahead and pop this on right now. Well, that was a one-take piece of cake if I've ever seen one. That went real smooth. Just lifted the engine, popped that new gasket in there, dropped the engine back down, and the header literally popped right back into place on the studs. One take, piece of cake. Let's fire this up, see how good this exhaust gasket's sealing. I've already fired up 3 or 4 times and retightened it. That I think is something fairly common. You know, they get warm, loosen up, retighten them. So here we go. So when I fired that up initially, it still sounded leaky, but as it started to warm up, it cleared up. I think that's the copper expanding or melting or sealing. So let's open the garage and head outside and see how it is. Flowmaster 2 chambers with a 383. Still needs some carburetor tuning. You want to hear how it sounds? I think I want to time this a little bit better. Previously I timed it with no exhaust and stuff like that, and I just moved the distributor, which is probably not a good idea. So I'm going to go get the timing light and see if I can improve the tune. We set our initial timing at 16 degrees with the vacuum advance disconnected. We've since reconnected the vacuum advance to full manifold vacuum. I want to see what it's at. I'm thinking our vacuum advance is probably adding 20 degrees. The reason we set it to 16 without the vacuum advance is because our mechanical advance is 17 and a half at max. So that puts us at 33 and a half degrees total advance, which is probably a little conservative, but I'm gonna run it there and see how I like it for a little while. I'll show you guys what I mean about how this feels good. I'm gonna have it held first. Now it's the second. So here we are in third, fourth, second. the tune, here's a better clip of the audio. Sounds pretty good. Flowmaster 2 chambers. Oh, how's it going? Didn't realize you guys were back here. Well, I'm basically wrapping this video up. I had a lot of fun filming it. The Ramcharger is running and driving pretty good. Next step is going to be to install one of these cable actuated differential lock kits in the front, the CAD delete, I think they call it. I'll do that tomorrow. In the interim though, I want to go ahead and wrap this video up, put it online so everybody can enjoy. I'm going to do some draggy testing with the Ramcharger and see what this does 0 to 60 in, but I think it's actually faster than the Lincoln, which is really exciting, very cool, you know? Other than that, the exhaust leak is still a nuisance, but these types of things happen. If you have project cars, there's always something to do. Anyways, I hope everyone has a great New Year's Eve tonight. I will talk to you later.